going on, y'all? You know who it is, Joseph Morrison, aka Kojo Locs. I'm coming to you with another video today. This is a LOC channel where I discuss LOC content. So if that's something that you're interested in, please feel free to hit the subscribe button, smash the like button. Well, don't smash it, you can just push it. It's just a click of a button. And just share the channel with a friend. You know, someone who's maybe interested in starting a LOC journey, maybe someone who has started a LOC journey. And pretty much by doing those things, it'll just help get my content and my information out there to people, well, similar to yourself, who are looking to kind of get LOC content and information. So that being said, I know you've seen the thumbnail and you're probably wondering what those things are that I've learned after being locked for a year. And you know, there are a lot of things that you learn along the process and along the journey. And I guess I can just say that this video is probably primarily for people who are thinking about starting a LOC journey, or you've literally just started your LOC journey, I don't know, a month ago, a week ago, a couple days ago. And I remember how that felt. And I know for me at that stage, I really felt a sense of wanting to be prepared for the future, wanting to have all the right things, wanting to know what's to come. You know, you just want your process to go smoothly. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. And I can tell you that after being locked for a year now, there's things that I've learned and things that I've experienced that I just wouldn't have known or thought about prior to having gone through these experiences, or prior to realizing that I've needed to learn some of these things, whether it be through experience or just through my loctician teaching me, or me reading it or learning it somewhere. So my hopes for this video really is just so that you can kind of get a little bit of insights into things that might help you just to relax a little bit, or things that'll just help you to feel more confident as you embark on the rest of your LOC journey, because it might be forever, right? So let's be ready for that. So quite simply, I'm going to go over 5 things that's going to help to inform you, and hopefully things that will help you to feel more educated and prepared for your current LOC journey. All right. So first and foremost, and this is one thing I would say is extremely important, to be honest. It's very, very important. And I'm not saying that if you don't know this, your LOC journey will go badly, but if you don't know this, your LOC journey will go badly. You want to know your hair texture. And I know for myself, I didn't even think about this prior to starting my LOC journey. Like, I was like, hair texture? What? You know, you obviously can conceptualize what that means from hearing those two words, you know, beside each other. So one of the things that knowing your hair texture will help you to do is to understand, well, how quickly your hair will lock up, right? The looser your hair texture is, the longer it's going to take for your hair to lock up, because it's not as tangly and as coiled. So obviously it's going to be harder for it to get tangled and coiled or to lock up. So if you just don't know your hair texture and you kind of have an expectation for how long you think your hair will lock up, well, you might have a rude awakening. Like myself, I have a pretty loose hair texture for, you know, a black person. So I kind of always thought that my hair texture was very coily and thought it would lock up pretty quickly, and that wasn't the case at all. Even just by looking at my hair now, I've been locked for over 14 months, or almost 14 months, and the tips of my hair still are not locked up. Now, if you're a starter locker, I don't know about you, but when I was at the 1 month stage or whatever, I thought like 2 months and my hair is fully locked, blah, blah, blah. But rude awakening, learning your hair texture is super important. Another reason why knowing your hair texture is important is because it allows you to understand what products are probably going to be best for your hair and scalp, right? So if you have very thick hair or if you have very thin hair, will determine if you want a thicker oil or an oil that's a little bit thinner, right? It also will determine if thicker oils are going to be better for your scalp, or if thinner oils are going to be better for your scalp. And that's just going to simply be because if you have thicker hair, or if you have a lot more hair, you don't want to be using a thicker oil, because now that oil is just going to kind of sit in your hair and not really allow your hair or allow your scalp to breathe, or allow your pores to open up to excrete a lot of toxins that are inside. So you're going to kind of get a lot of buildup and things of that nature. And now if you don't know your hair texture, well, you'll just kind of start using whatever product that Joe Schmo, you know, told you about, or, you know, Bobby Buttons told you about. These are terrible names for examples, I'm sorry about that. But my point is, you'll just be using random products with no understanding of why you're using them, and whatever happens to your hair, you're not going to know why it's happening. So there's just so many things that knowing your hair texture can help you with. And obviously, knowing how fast your hair is going to lock up and knowing what products to use are super, super monumentally important. And the last thing too that knowing your hair texture can help you with is knowing what type of lock start you want to go with. So if you have a looser hair texture, you might benefit more from starting with interlocks, because if your hair texture is loose, it's not really going to cooperate with you as well if you're just going with a comb coil. It might come out and unravel pretty easily. If you have a looser hair texture and you're going with interlocks, your hair is more susceptible to staying together and therefore allowing you to lock up your hair a lot quicker, which is what I had to do. So it's really, really important to know your hair texture for pretty much the most important reasons why you're on this lock journey. Your products you're gonna use, how fast your hair is gonna lock up, and what start to go with when you wanna start your locks. Pretty fundamentally important stuff. So knowing your hair texture is important, and I will leave a hair texture guide right here. You can take a look at it just to give you a brief understanding. You can obviously go to Google and just type in hair texture type. It'll show you everything I'm showing you right here. But based on what you see here, wherever your hair texture is will kind of let you know where you fall on that spectrum. So 4C being the most coily or the most curly type, and obviously a 1 being the loosest hair texture. So going with that information, go into your loctician and let them know what you want to do, right? So that's number 1. I think that's one of the most important things that I've learned on this journey, and I think you should know it too. Number 2, I would just say, is the importance of hair protection. Now, when I say hair protection, I'm talking about the things that you use to cover your hair when you're sleeping, or if you're just hanging around your house. Basically, anytime you're gonna be putting your head or your hair against some kind of surface that's going to do things to your locks that are gonna detriment your locking process, you wanna be putting on hair protection for that reason. So typically when you go to bed or hanging around the house are gonna be when you're using it. But the reason why it's important to wear it consistently, and consistency is the word with this one, because you're gonna get things in your locks that you're not gonna see. If you get something in back here in your lock, you're probably not gonna see it unless someone tells you. So that being said, if you get a piece of lint in one of your locks and your locks continue to lock up and they're marrying and they're getting together, that lint's gonna get stuck literally in the middle of your lock. Now, that's not good. And then you're gonna think about how to get that out. Well, you're gonna have to take like a tweezer or something and basically dig into your lock and pretty much unravel that lock to get that piece of lint out. So it's really, really important to wear your lock protection, whether it be a do-rag or a bonnet or a silk or satin scarf, anything that protects your head that's obviously a fabric that's lock friendly, pretty much just silk or satin, is really gonna be beneficial. Because honestly, there's nothing worse than getting a piece of lint in your lock or noticing there's a piece of lint in your lock after a few months and wondering like, how long has that been there? Like, I know for me, I don't know if you can see it now. I think it's gone actually. I pretty much got most of it out. But in one of, so right there, you see that little white thing right there? I kind of pick away at it here and there, but there's a little piece of lint that, I don't know when that got there. But it got into my lock a long time ago and now it's just kind of there. Now I eventually will go in and just dig it out completely. But the point I'm making is you don't want to have to deal with that. So it's really important to wear your protection and wear it consistently, because yes, there's going to be times when you're not going to have it on when you're at home, and the longer your locking process goes, the more easy it is to get lazy with it. You might have a night or two where you just go to sleep without it, or maybe you come home and you're hanging on your couch and you don't want to go to your room to get your do-rag and you fall asleep. These things are going to happen. So it's just really important to try and stay on top of wearing your lock protection. And that's why, essentially, you just want to keep your locks protected so things are not getting inside it, because it sucks. Trust me, it sucks. It's annoying to deal with, and especially the ones in the back, it just becomes a nightmare. So definitely wear your lock protection consistently. You'll thank yourself later. Trust me. The next thing I would say, and this one's kind of obvious, but you really don't think about it until you get into the situation, but you want to consider your lifestyle when you're going into your lock journey. What I mean by that is this. So if you're somebody who works out every day, for example, and you sweat a lot, okay, well, you have starter locks. So have you thought about how you're gonna kind of moisture wick a lot of that sweat away? Or let's say you normally wear a toque when you're doing your workouts. Well, you're probably not gonna wanna wear that cotton toque when you're doing the workout, because that cotton's gonna pull at your locks. So you gotta think about using some other kind of hair protection for when you're working out to help to mitigate and moisture wick some of that sweat, right? Boom. Are you somebody that, I don't know, works in a dirty environment? Maybe you work in construction. Maybe you're doing home renovations and things of that nature. Well, that stuff can get pretty dusty, and you'd probably typically wash your hair every day or something when you come home, but now you have locks. So when you're on the construction site, you don't want to be getting dust and debris and all that kind of stuff in your hair. I mean, that's going to be a nightmare. So what things are you going to be wearing on the side every day to keep your hair protected? Are you going to wear a do-rag and maybe put a toque over it? Or maybe put on a do-rag with a hard hat? Like, you want to be thinking about what your day-to-day consists of, what your lifestyle consists of, and what adjustments are you going to have to make in order to maintain your locks and protect your locks. Are you working in super cold environments? Are you constantly outside? Maybe if you're going to be outside all the time, you need to be thinking about using oils that are going to be able to sustain you in the colder climates. Are you outside in a hot climate where, do you get my point? Like, you kind of see what I'm saying. So you want to start to think about, what do I do on a day-to-day basis? Where do I go? What compromising situations am I going to encounter with my locks? And what things should I have in place to make sure that I'm taking care of wherever I go? Whether it means having some sweatbands for my workouts, whether it means having some do-rags that I put in my car so that when I'm on the work site, on the construction site at work, I can kind of pull it out and throw it on my head. All these kinds of things are things that are going to help you to, well, maintain your locking journey, because obviously your lifestyle continues, your life goes on. It just made me think of that Celine Dion song, My Heart Will Go On Once More. Yeah. She's a Canadian pioneer, by the way, so that's our girl. Anyway, yeah, you just want to think about those things and make sure that you're covered and making sure that you won't have any issues wherever you go, right? Now, the next one that you're going to want to consider, and you've probably already thought about this, but it is important, and it's something that can kind of evolve as you go through your year mark, but it's just learning and understanding the benefits of the products that you're using for your hair and how important it is to really use products that are healthy for your hair and scalp. That being said, you know, and I don't want to sound like I'm knocking on anybody with this one, but you don't want to just go get any old shampoo, or you don't just want to be using any old oil for your locks or your scalp. You know, investing in some good quality oils doesn't have to be that expensive. There are places where we can go to kind of get these products for a cheaper cost to make sure that we're sustaining and we're really maintaining the sustenance of our locks and our scalp. You know, you want to be using essential oils. You want to be using organic products when you're thinking about raising your locks. Now I'm making them sound like they're kids, jeez. But you know what I'm saying, right? You don't want to just be using any old shampoo that you were using before. You want to use shampoos that are going to have proteins that are going to be beneficial for your lock growth. You want to maybe think about not using conditioner, especially in that starter locking phase. So don't just keep using your conditioner because you've always used it. You want to really be starting to think about, how are the products that I'm using for my hair and scalp going to benefit my locking process? That being said, once you've found products that you love, so I would say have a shampoo and have maybe 3 or 4 essential oils that you use for your hair that you maybe use in a mixture that you use on a daily basis, and you combine those 2 things with maybe some rose water to just moisturize your hair every day. That's all you need, which is my next point. Once you've found the oils that are beneficial for your hair, considering your hair texture, so having oils that are maybe a little thicker or a little thinner based on whatever your hair texture is, and using a shampoo that's good for your hair and healthy and organic for your hair, and then just sticking with those, right? You don't need to be trying all kinds of cool new things because this locker said do that, or that locker said that works best for them. That's what works best for them. That being said, I'm one of those people too. I'm telling you, hey, try this product or try that product. And I want you to still take even what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Like, I'm just giving you my experience. So it's important to understand your scalp, your hair type, and understand what products are best for you. And sometimes the best way to do that is to obviously gather information from people like myself and kind of take bits and pieces from every person that pertains to you to make the best product for yourself, or to have the best kind of lineup of products for yourself. So I would just say it's really good to know, and you really understand how important it is to have the right products, because these products are going to help you to mitigate itching. It's going to help you to mitigate any kind of buildup in your locks. It's going to help to promote lock growth. It's going to help to promote the healthy nutrients that you're ingesting into your body to get to your locks and to kind of give healthy blood flow to the scalp. Like, there's just so many things that using the right oils and the right shampoos can do for your hair. It's not just like, oh, I'm just gonna use something because whatever, I need to use something. No, it's important to really invest into finding the right products for you, which isn't hard, and then just sticking with them until you find something better, right? So it's pretty important. So it's pretty important to kind of know what products are best for you, and you know, in the process of finding what's best for you, that might be a bit of a journey and trying a couple things. I would say if you are trying things out, give it at least a week or two to know if it's best for your hair and scalp, and then go from there. Don't try something once and be like, oh, this sucks. You got to give it a little bit of time. And the last thing I'll say I mean, it's something that you kind of know, but I would say it was one thing that I had the most anxiety with, was wondering when my hair is going to lock up. Being somebody with a 2B, 3A hair texture, so a looser hair texture than most. Like when I started, I thought my hair was going to lock up really quickly, but it doesn't, and it didn't. And you know, that's something that really stressed me out. Like I felt like I was really looking in the mirror all the time and wondering when it's going to lock up and wondering, oh, is that a bud? Like, you know, and it can really be something that's stressful and something that you worry about, or something that you look at other lockers and you see their hair's locking up so quick, and maybe they're not even taking care of their hair as good as you are, right? And you're like, well, they're using like bad shampoos and their hair's locking up quick, like what the heck? And I guess it's kind of my way of just saying to you, you got to look at your journey as your own, and that is something I've learned to be so true. And that's kind of what I mean by your hair will lock up. That's something I can guarantee you. And I would say most people, most African Americans like myself, probably have a more coily hair texture than I do. So your hair probably will lock up sooner than mine will. And believe me, I was stressed out about mine, and mine locked up. And it was something that you just have to get to a point where you just trust the process, trust what you're doing. And I know at times wondering if your hair is gonna lock up or feeling like it's not locking up is gonna make you doubt the products that you're using, or make you want to try something different. Like, oh, I saw someone say that they don't wear their hair protection at night, so I'm gonna try that. And you know, really find a formula that works for you and just stick to it. Stick to it and just know that your hair will lock up. I promise you that, okay? It might not be as fast as you want, but it will. As long as you're covering all your bases, you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your health overall, you're working out, you're eating the right things, you're putting the right products in your hair, you're getting good sleep, your hair will lock up, right? And the more you're taking care of yourself, your scalp, and your hair, the quicker it's probably gonna lock up. So just know that. And you know, even me saying this right now, you're kind of like, yeah, whatever. But seriously, just know that your hair will lock up, trust me, okay? Nothing to worry about. So I do hope that that was helpful for you. For any lockers out there who are watching this and maybe have your own points that you want to let the other viewers know, shoot it in the comments. Let's talk about it, right? Let's keep the conversation going. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, definitely subscribe, like the video, hit that thumbs up, it helps with the channel. And share with a friend, as I said before. You know, it really helps to get the information out there for people that want to know it, similar to yourself. So yeah, that's all for me today, and I will hit you guys next week with another video, as I always do. But until then, stay locked, stay positive, peace and love. Kojo Locs signing out.